Listen, if you want to grow your business, but you're tired of being trapped by clients who want to deboil all of your time and consume all of your energy, then today's video is for you. Today, I'm going to give you the inside scoop on the specific strategy that I use to get rid of unprofitable clients. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Ebony Evaughn, your go-to business operations strategist, here to help you grow your business with people and processes. Today, we are going to be talking about client management, and I'm going to share with you the specific strategy that I use, which is the 80-20 rule, Pareto's Principle, in order to get rid of problematic headache clients, the ones that argue with you about your rates, who always pay their invoices late, and how you can get rid of those type of clients and start attracting more clients that you really want to work with and serve. But before I get into that, I want to just hone in on a basic business principle that a lot of people tend to overlook these days. And that is the importance of having a target audience, right? So I see so many conversations online about people saying that they're de-niching, they're layering instead of niching, and all these other things. And that can be great if you're a content creator and you're just trying to create content that anyone can consume. Then go for it, right? De-niche all you want. But if you are a business owner and you're trying to attract clients and get sales for your business, you need a target audience. You need to know who your products and services are for. You need to know their pain points, their needs, what their shopping behaviors are, so that when you're creating products and services, you're creating, number one, you're creating things that people want. But also, knowing who your target audience is and isn't also helps you when it comes to your branding, how you create your aesthetics, the messaging that you use, the marketing channels that you use. So that is why it's important to know who is your target audience. People don't say define your target audience just for their health. Your target audience is directly tied to your revenue. All right, now that I got that rant out the way, let's go ahead and get into the 80-20 rule and how I actually apply this to my business. So a few years ago, I read this book by Tim Ferriss called 4-Hour Work Week. I made a couple videos on my channel about the principles and the concepts from the book that I have adopted into my life. And one of those principles is the 80-20 rule. And I actually apply this to my business year after year. So if you're not familiar with the 80-20 rule or Pareto's Principle, in a nutshell, this is simply a rule that states a small percentage of inputs typically produce the majority of results. So statistically, what this means is that 20% of the inputs or the efforts that you're putting into your business are going to generate 80% of the results. So if you look at this from a client perspective or a revenue perspective and you apply this principle, basically what it's saying that if you apply this to the clientele that you have in your business and your revenue, you will most likely notice that statistically 20% of your clients are generating 80% of the revenue that you gain in your business. On the flip side of that, if you think about the bottom 20% of your clients, they're probably the ones that are causing 80% of the friction, the headaches, the overwhelm, the frustration that you experience in your business. So how I actually apply this in my business is I will take my entire client list and I will say, let me identify the top 20% of clients that are generating the most revenue in my business. So Typically, it may come out to be 20%, it may be 25, 30%, it may be 15, but on average, we're going to say 20%. So when I look at my top clients, I will start to notice a lot of commonalities that they all have in common. The top 20% of your clients that are generating the most revenue are typically going to be the clients that are always showing up on time for their coaching calls, their client meetings. If they have deliverables that they have to give to you, they have their deliverables on time, if not early. They're the ones that pay their invoices on time or early. These are also going to be your clients that don't really require a lot of hands-on hand-holding and support, right? And so you will notice on the flip side of that, if you look at your bottom 20% of clients, the ones that really aren't moving the needle in your business, you will notice that these are the ones that are causing the most frustration. These are the ones that are always late paying their invoices if they pay them at all. These are going to be the ones that are constantly sending in support tickets. They need a lot of hand holding. They have a lot of questions. They need a lot of attention. And it's not a negative to say that like, people aren't supposed to want support, but most of the time, I know in my experience, whenever I have given like clients stuff for free or at a discount, those have always, hands down, been the clients that ask the most questions, send in the most support tickets, that are constantly needing something or that are constantly complaining about something, right? And so in your own business, if you look at your clientele and you look at that bottom 20%, I guarantee you will identify the majority of frictions or frustrations that you're experiencing are coming from that group of people. And even looking beyond just a financial perspective, as far as missed invoices or chargebacks and refunds, these are most likely going to be the ones that cause you the most frustration because they drain your energy. These are going to be the clients that you have a call coming up with them on Monday and you start to get what I call the Sunday Monday pits, where you just like, oh my God, like tomorrow I got to meet with this person. And you just do not want to do it. That is an indicator that you probably want to get rid of those clients. And I get it. A lot of times when people are first starting out in business, I know I was the same way. When I first started, I said yes to anybody that said yes to me. Like, if you gonna throw your wallet at me, sure, I can help you. And as I've grown in business, I've learned that you don't have to say yes to everybody. It's okay to say no sometimes. You can just do the thing that you're good at and let that be that. But oftentimes people want to try to be all things to everybody. And that's honestly most likely slowing you down in business because you're focusing on the things that you don't need to. The more you focus on other things, the less attention you are actually giving to the things that you should be focusing on in your business. All right, so at the beginning of the video, I told you I would tell you how you can get rid of your unprofitable clients. So when you look at the bottom 20% of clients that are causing 80% of the roadblocks, the frustrations, the breakdowns in your business, in order to get rid of them, you just want to phase them out. How you phase them out is going to depend on your business model, what it is that you do. But 3 easy things that you could do to phase out these people. Number 1 is increase your prices, or if you don't increase your prices, just stick to the price. The price is the price. Don't be out here handing out discounts or giving people your products and services for free, because you're going to set yourself up for failure in the long run. So let the price be the price, and you're going to have people who aren't going to want to deal with that, and they're going to self-exit themselves, right? And that's okay. Another way that you can actually start to phase out these unprofitable clients is going to be by implementing policies and procedures. So if you have a specific way of doing certain operations in your business, you want to make sure that you document that process. You want to make sure that every process that you have, every procedure that you have in your business, you have a policy that backs it up. So If you're doing monthly invoices and invoices are due on the 1st of the month, it's late, or you're canceled after the 5th of the month, you want to make sure that you have a payment process in place for how people can actually pay their invoices. You want to make sure you have a procedure in place for what happens if there is a missed payment. Do you automatically have notifications or reminders that go out? If it's canceled after the 5th day, do you have a procedure that addresses that or handles that? And very important, you want to make sure that you have policies that back up your procedures and processes. So your policies are there to enforce the rules. And then last but not least, to get rid of your unprofitable clients, the last thing that you could do is simply just set boundaries and make sure you have clear boundaries. So if you have clients that call you or text you on your personal cell phone and that's crossing a boundary for you, you want to make sure that you have a communications policy in place. So you can say, moving forward, all communications need to be through Voxer, Slack, email, or whatever approved communication channels you have. If you have clients that maybe they are habitually late paying their invoices, you want to set a boundary that says, hey, you need to make sure your invoice is paid on time. If you miss an invoice, if you miss the deadline for your invoice 2 times, then you're going to be canceled, right? You want to make sure you set clear boundaries, you communicate those boundaries. You want to make sure you have processes, procedures, and policies in place that help you support that. And you want to make sure that you're setting expectations for your clients when they come in the door so that they know what to expect. All right, so I know this is a quick, short video for me. Normally I'm long-winded. I be talking forever. But I just wanted to do this video to tell you my process for being able to get rid of unprofitable clients and how I do that using the 80-20 rule. If you found this video to be helpful, make sure you give it a like. If you want to see more videos just like this, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. So anytime I post another video, you, my friend, will be the first one to know about it, right? As always, thank you for stopping by my internet home, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, y'all. You can go deeper on this topic by watching the playlist on the top right of the screen. But if you'd rather have me build these systems for you, you can see how you can work with me using the link to the right. Otherwise, watch the video above because it's what YouTube thinks you'll like best.